So recent volcanic eruptions in the Tongan Islands have been felt as far as San Diego with the tidal surge. Florida felt the shock waves. And, the thing that's most concerning about this would probably be the tsunami effect that was expected. And they did feel some pretty big tidal surges and some waves, like I said, in San Diego and along the entire west coast of America and even, Mexico and some in South America, certainly in Alaska as well. Now, the scary thing about this is this happens to be along this ring of fire, and it is almost certain that more volcanoes are going to erupt in this area, without a doubt. And some have already begun to erupt. Now, I don't really know. I'm not a geologist, and I'm not a volcanist, and I don't know which volcanoes are which. In other words, some of these volcanoes have been erupting for a long, long time, on and off. But it's certain that some of these dormant volcanoes that have lied dormant for long periods of time have come back to life and are now showing some activity. And if we go to an earthquake map, you'll see the extent of the earthquakes that are really happening along these fault lines, these various fault lines. I know the San Andreas goes right along here, and the San Jacinto along here somewhere too. And these earthquakes are pretty recent. The yellow is the past week, the blue is in the last day or so, and the red are within the last hour. So some fairly recent activity. And if you notice, they're all along this ring of fire. So there's a lot going on in this area. Now, the scary thing is, if you notice, this is a big bowl. Whenever there's an eruption or seismic activity, there's most certainly going to be tsunami warnings all along these coastal regions here. And this is quite frightening because, we read in the Spirit of Prophecy and the Bible that there's going to be these types of disasters, tidal surges and earthquakes and tsunamis and stuff that we're seeing, the waves roaring, as it says there in Luke chapter 21, I believe. And some of these earthquakes are fairly good size. Here we have a magnitude 6.1. That'll get your attention. Now, I know a few of these, are fairly small. 2.5, you may not even feel something that small. We have one here, 3.3. I'd have to zoom up on the map to see exactly where these are at. Somewhere along there, it's in Nevada. But some pretty small ones too, 3.2. You may or may not feel one that size. So a lot of these are just little rumblings that are taking place along these fault lines here. It's noteworthy because we're told that, earthquakes will become one of the things that will happen more often in the last days. And we are feeling more earthquakes. We're seeing more volcanoes. We're seeing a lot more natural disasters, rains where it shouldn't rain, snow where it shouldn't snow. We're seeing fires, massive fires in California and all around the world for that matter. I mean, there was a fire just recently in Colorado that wiped out large subdivisions of houses, just an incredibly fast burning. I mean, nobody expected it. It was just a few days before a snow fell. Some very high winds came up. I guess it was gusts up to 100 mile an hour. Somehow, and it was cold. It was during the month of December that this took place. And, nobody would have expected a fire to break out in such cold weather, but there just wasn't any moisture on the ground. And this just took off and with those high winds just burned right through these subdivisions. And it was very strange because you'd see these pictures of all these houses burnt and there'd be like one house that was unburnt, makes you wonder. And I can't help but think that some of these things are judgments from God, And, it wasn't until California legalized gay marriage, quite frankly, that, these fires seemed to just begin to burn out of control in the state. And I remember there was marches and demonstrations up and down the streets in places like San Francisco and San Jose saying, let's get rid of God. And that to me was just an ominous sign. It was almost like what the captain of the Titanic said right before it sank. Even God himself cannot sink this ship. And down it went on its maiden voyage. So a lot of activity around in this Indonesian area. I know they have a volcano or volcanoes also in these areas. In this Tongan area, we see a ton of activity, no doubt due to this volcano. I mean, there's just a cluster of activity around in this area itself. In terms of volcano, I guess the Tongan volcano was a fairly small one, and you could almost reason, it wasn't really anything to have cause for concern. But listen, if you live in these areas, there's plenty of concern. The point of what I'm trying to get at is this. God is trying to wake people up. He's trying to get us to come forth from our slumber And the problem is, it's hard to do that with mankind. Mankind doesn't wake easily. We're all asleep. Not only are we asleep, but we're in a condition of Laodicea. You know, the church itself is in a condition of Laodicea where we have no need of anything. We're increased in goods. We're wealthy. And it says there in Revelations, we have need of nothing. But the Bible instructs us to buy gold, tried in the fires. Now, that word gold is interesting because it really is talking about faith here. It's talking about, you know, having a faith for God that's being tried. And this faith is going to be important in these last days because without it, we're not going to be able to find our way through these final events. It's going to be very difficult for those who haven't made the preparations in their heart and in their life and in their physical preparations as well. Not only spiritual that's needed here, but physical. You know, Noah was instructed to build an ark. In the process of building that ark, he also sharpened his spiritual senses, if you will, and gave him a real heightened sense of urgency. So in Joel chapter 1, verse 14, it says, "Sanctify ye a fast, call a solemn assembly, gather the elders and all the inhabitants of the land into the house of the Lord your God, and cry unto the Lord, Alas, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and as a destruction from the Almighty shall it come." All right, so it's this verse is clearly talking about what God's people should be doing in the last day. We should be calling a fast, a solemn assembly. So in the light of all of these things that are taking place around the world, what more proof do we need as a people? I have a neighbor that keeps telling me if only he could just if God could just give him a miracle, just give him a little something to go by. God has given us an awful lot to go by. In fact, if, you know, when judgment comes, and it might be too late for some of us, you know, and those people will look back and think to themselves, how foolish was I, you know, with this preponderance of proof, this evidence that God has given us, and we still refused. We still rejected his spirit. We still would not give our lives to him or consecrate ourselves in any way, shape, or form. And for you Christians out there who haven't fully devoted your lives to Jesus, now is the time. You cannot wait another minute, not another second. You know, this is not a message for us to react to tomorrow. It's a call to action now. And that's exactly what we all should be doing, is really taking this serious and getting ready. I just ask that if you like this kind of content, that you would please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.